Hi, Great Gunnar. So I thought it might just be a bit easier to make a video explaining what's going on with your issue. I had a look at your image and I saw that you've added in more edge loops, which is absolutely right. You need more edge loops. This might be a bit much for this character, um, but you should probably consider adding in more edge loops, or to be honest, just subdividing your whole mesh like once, because you're really missing some edge loops here, and a lot of the issue that you're getting with when these go in, you're losing a lot of volume in this whole upper arm because it's basically going in a straight line from here to here, and then you're losing all of that volume here. And the same with here. Um, cool that you separate out the arm. That's a really nice way of just dealing with this stuff. Uh, if you hadn't, you would have needed more twist chain, like a twist chain here, and more divisions here so that you could deal with the twist. But yeah, that's good. The hand could probably be divided a bit more as well. I really, I'd like to do the knuckles a bit further back. You'd probably want them a bit more like this around here, especially the thumb as well. You want it like further back. If you like really have a look at your hand and like feel where the knuckles are and everything, everything is a bit more like in the hand than right on like the surface around here. Um, but hey, whatever works, and it might look good just for this character as well. But just thought I'd mention it. So for this part, let's talk about what's happening here. I've got a little scene here where I basically have this mesh which I've skinned up in between these two joints. So these vertices are 100% to this joint, these vertices are 100% to this joint, and these vertices in the middle, they're 50-50 in between both of them. So what's happening here is that you're losing all of this volume, right? So you'd expect to end up, when you have like the 50% in between both, that you'd get 45-degree angle between both of these, which we're getting. But you might expect it to be not losing as much of a volume as well. And the problem here is basically that the skinning that most people use is um, the classic linear skinning. And basically what that just takes the weighting that you have on a mesh, and when it's 50%, you will get 50% of the movement from this mesh, no, from this joint and this joint. I've tried to illustrate this with these spheres that I've added in here. So they're basically parent constraint in between these joints as well, and they act exactly the same because it's the same math. But if I take this and if I go down, just do a little x-ray, you can see when I start to remove the influence that this has, it does exactly the same thing. So you like crank that up to 1, that to 0, then it will follow this completely. So why are you getting the volume loss? That's basically because with the linear interpolation of it, it's not really concerned about maintaining a volume or moving in an arc, because basically this is moving in a nice arc now, but the points are just like being 50% rotated in here. So you're getting a lot of issues with that. One thing that you can do to like simply fix this is just to, as you've done, add in more edge loops, and then keep these edge loops that you got here at the start fully skinned. So, sorry, these edge loops are fully skinned to this joint, and these edge loops, these vertices, are fully skinned to this joint. So you're still getting a lot of volume loss in between here, but at least you're maintaining this. So that's one like really simple and quick way of fixing up it a bit better. And when you 3 smooth it, yeah, it doesn't look the best. Another thing that you can do is do like a corrective blend shape as well. That's driven by the joint rotation, so that when you're in here you have a corrective blend shape where you just push these out to make it look a bit more pretty. That's also a simple way of doing it. Another thing that you can do, which is, to me preferably, I like to fix the stuff with joints because you can paint in more, you can have a bit more artistic license with it, or well, you can control it a bit better. Like when you have a corrective blend shape, a lot of times it might like blend in a bit strange, and you will have to like tweak how it all just activates. One thing that you can do is just add in a second joint, and that is basically orient constrained in between these two joints, so it will get 50% of the rotation of this joint. So if we do that now, you can see we have this joint at 45 degrees and this is 90 degrees now. So what I've done is I've done the exact same thing, like this is skinned 100% to this is skinned 100 to this, but this now is skinned 100% to this. That basically means that you're maintaining the volume of this completely, like the actual circle volume around here is completely intact, and it's giving you, especially here, a lot better results. And if you see when we 3 smooth it, it looks a lot better than what we had previously. Still not looking amazing, but it's a really simple fix for something that you can just add in. Like these kind of joints that you can have around like the elbows and the knees especially, and for like the hips, can be really useful to just have something that you can fully skin to if you when you only want something going half a distance of another joint. What you can also do is you could have more joints, or like another joint setup where you could have, when this rotates in, you could have a joint like a setter and key where you had, for instance, like a joint in the back push out and a joint in the front push out as well, and then you could skin to those to get like really full artistic freedom going. And that's really what you're dealing with there, is that your topology needs to be high enough so that you can do a decent skinning on it and not have a bunch of like really long surfaces like this, where if you mess up this, it's just going to destroy this whole thing because you only got like these straight lines going in between. So you really want more edge loops, especially for when you do things like this with your shoulder. Then you'd want this to stay pretty much completely the same if you just rotate it, but you want all of this to rotate. So this would be exactly the same. But now, if I just do select a couple of edge loops, if I just rotate that back again, oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm doing it the wrong way now, sorry. If I just do those, and I can do a cluster right after. Sorry, so if I rotate that back 90 degrees, you can see the issues that you're getting. You're getting this candy wrapper effect, as it's called. So basically, if I rotate this negative 180 degrees back, and then I rotate this 180 degree forwards to keep these vertices in the same place, you can see we get this, which is extremely not good. Even if you do, especially if you do a 3 smooth, it just looks even worse. So you would need more subdivisions for that, more edge loops, and then you would want a lot of like these type of joints going down here, at least one other joint which is rotating like 50% in between these so that you can paint to it. That will really help you maintain that volume. And that's really what you're dealing with in areas like this, is that you want to be able to kind of fully skin to one joint if when you're dealing with rotations, especially because they will, because of the linear interpolation of the skin cluster, they will collapse and they will not really care about the volume present or how they're moving. That does get a bit better when you do like dual quaternion, but I don't think there's a lot of people that really use it. Some people, but I've never really bothered with it because you would have to do like usually a weight blended between classic and dual quaternion. I recommend that you look into creating some helper joints to help you really skin this character as best as you can, and look up some stuff online. I'm not sure about any really good resources on that, but do some searches on like helper joints for Maya. Or what I really like to do was go on to, if you go to the GDC vault, you can find a lot of really nice um, slideshows, presentations from people in the gaming industry where they have to like deal with all this stuff real time. So it's usually skinning. So you will see a lot of like skeleton setups where they have a lot of extra helper joints, and sometimes they will describe how they work, but a lot of times just knowing where they are and seeing kind of where they place them, how they look, you can kind of try and figure out why they're there, how they would move, and stuff like that. Okay, this was a bit long and a bit ranty on a late evening. I hope this made some sense. If not, let us know and we'll try and figure out something better. And yeah, let us know if there's anything else. Okay, bye.